Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
G'day, everybody. Today we have a great time with my guest, whose name is Lisa Vasquez, and she has got a lot of fabulous stuff to share with us. G'day, Lisa.
Hi. Well, thank you so much for having me on this journey. This is very exciting, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, so are we. We're going to learn a lot from you today. All right, first things first, I want to know, I know it's a journey for all of us, but how did you actually step onto this path of sharing this incredible information?
So this all came a part of a long journey in radiology. I started my career in radiology back in 1980, and I've seen a lot of women in pain behind closed doors throughout that journey. You know, women were 30 years older than me. They were 50, I was 20 doing their mammograms. So you hear stories nonstop. You go through history sheets and it's a continuous story. So you keep hearing a lot of repetition and problems and issues and things that are happening in women's life. So they were able to teach me a lot. And without even knowing the tools and education they were actually providing for me to capture as a basket of research. And this brought so much to me to empower women with. And so this is where it all started back when I became a radiology tech in 1980.
Well, I bet you've seen a lot of stuff. Wow. And a lot of it very sad, I would imagine.
Yes, very challenging, very challenging. Yes, there's a lot. And you know, to be so young and to see so much in that world, it was very interesting and very educational and empowering because of the women and how they approached it, how they persevered through it, most of all, and what emotions and capturing the conversation of beginning the journey, walking through the journey, being in the journey, living through the journey, getting through the journey. It was all in different conversations. I mean, thousands of women every day. So you imagine like 25 women a day, one woman at a time. Back in the day, I had like 30 minutes per woman, you know, and today they only have like 7 to 8 minutes, you know, which is very sad. But back then I had time to create and learn. And this is where this all came from.
Have you written any books on this subject?
Well, I started a series, and it's called Girl in the Red, Your Hormones Are Showing. And this is my little book. Wait, we get to do the camera. And so the exciting part about this was the fact that after exploring this whole menstrual life cycle, and me myself, even though what I've gone through, at the timing of my life, I didn't know it was a hormone shift. So taking women back to zero, aside from the new generation, and empowering women and little young girls to be empowered by this passage of life that we have to go through, by understanding it, nourishing it, and taking the shame away from it. So this book is I created the characters, Lady Testosterone, Lady Estrogen, and Lady Progesterone, because I really want these characters that live within us for us to understand how we work with them. So by them pretty much talking, I've always studied the body inside out. That was my whole vision through the radiology lens. So everything I've seen my whole life was always inside. I never really focused on the outside because I was always on the inside every day. So this is why I captured a network and created characters out of everybody, from gut health to brain health to everything that I've studied in my life, and created a network of conversations, because the body's always speaking to us and our hormones are our messengers. And so to capture all this language is for me to express it and let you know there's a conversation happening, a real world, a real city happening here. It's not just out here.
Fabulous, fabulous idea. I love the character part. It brings a different light to everything. It makes people go and sit down and go, oh, I should have a look at that. What age group is it for starting?
Starting 9 to like 14. But I mean, honestly, it's for everyone because we women never had the story. All we were given was the instructions on what to do once the menstrual cycle had appeared. And nobody really get into conversations. Our mothers didn't have education and conversations to talk about this. So they just showed us what to do. And that's how it had been passed on for generations, just what to do, and then left you on your own. And, you know, in some cultures, mothers don't talk about it. So these girls had to go speak and learn from friends that they had. So our conversations hit the road at that point. And in my book, I bring the conversation back where I want the mother and daughter to come back together because hormones have disrupted that, like a disruptor, because the mother is on a higher level of, the tank is emptying, whereas the young girl is filling up. So the conversations are going to be different and the head banging is going to be real. So, but if we can come together and understand and have these conversations like monthly, like a mother hanging out with her daughter, sitting there enjoying, and the mother's talking about her changes or whatever, and the little girls, and that's what my book is all about. Little Lady Blossom talking with her mother, understanding how you could be in a whole world and everybody's around you, but yet you're all alone. Or how come, all these moments that, really dissuade us. And then I talk about period poverty, because that's a big cycle of life that's happening, not only for young girls, but women. And after talking with you even experienced that on your world travels in certain places where you had went. And in the conversation, I do talk about when I received my first menstrual cycle, I happened to be in Mexico at the time. And so I wasn't fully equipped with what I needed at that moment, and being real rural out in the country there. And so there's a poverty happening here today, and everyone should be aware of this. And so these are the big conversations.
And what I've noticed, I've traveled to over 100 countries in the world, and I found a lot of people still ashamed. Women are ashamed, I think it is, or it's all under the covers. We don't talk about it. And I'm really disappointed in so many men that I've met in my life, casually, and they just they're not helpful in what happens to a woman. I mean, we're all there for the men, right? We're all there every time they have a little owie, and yet you can go through, I used to think that I was giving birth to Mount Vesuvius at times when I had my menstrual cycle, and you had to grin and bear it and go to work and do what you had to do, right?
Right.
You were sweating bricks all the time. So hopefully manly men, I know a lot of the other kind of men are right into it in a different way, but it would be nice to have a partner in this for ourselves. And our children, my little granddaughter's 9 now, so she's just getting into it.
Yes. See, and so another part of this book represents, I'm hoping that this next generation will have, because we have so many more girl dads today in our world, and they are stuck at this point when they turn 9 years old. And what do they do? What do they reach for? And again, and it wasn't men's fault, but because we barely knew anything about it, how would we be able to explain it to them? Women didn't know that our anxiety and our crying, because if you asked them why they crying, they didn't know. They couldn't say, oh, it's my hormones, or, so right away it was just blamed on the period. It was just knocked down as something bad. And so now that's the whole conversation that has to change, because we are a walking hormone, all of us. But men's, they don't activate and fluctuate the way ours do, but they have their issues, and theirs show up later in their years of life. But for women, yes, for men to really understand this is another big part of why I'm hoping the next generation will have more of a conversation, saying, my father sat there and read that book with me and he taught me it. That's what I'm hoping. I'm really looking forward to that. Besides mothers coming together with their daughters, but men really, because this is so important for all of us. So we can communicate better, so we can have more peace in the home, so we can have more understanding at work, so we can have more relations of respecting that instead of blaming it. Oh, she's just in that mood because she must be wherever she's at in her monthly. They blame these things on you, but it's in a moment of empowering as you're changing into your super new you. Yeah, you're going to go through changes and have ups and downs, but the end process of it is how you come out of it nourished, in peace with yourself, and understanding and love. That self-care, most important.
I totally agree. And here's myself, my granddaughter's grandmother, and I'm at the other end. And I tell you that idea, and I did a whole course on this when I was doing some college work, and the idea that you fall apart when you have menopause. That's it. You're discarded. You're like an old cloth that you use to clean the dust out of the house with, and aloha, you're out of there. And it's not so. I mean, I've had the best years of my life being free of not trying to scramble for a tampon and having those hormonal issues. And I can't put it down to anything more but freedom. It's just wonderful. And I think I'm totally a lady still, a female. I think I'm doing well. And I'm nearly 77. And I love my life now. I mean, I loved it always, but I don't have to worry about, yeah. When I was younger, you didn't go swimming, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. That's crazy. The whole thing is changing, and it's people like you that are doing it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, because it is so important, and it is so empowering. When your hormones speak, that's the whole thing, that they're really speaking, and that's why they're giving you all these little signs of mood swings or things like that. But then again, it goes back to the nourishment also, because we're not trained and taught early that eating healthy and doing these things, no matter what we try in this world of education and trying to feed that table and create that plate and make it balanced, it's very hard with all this processed food looking at you and all this junk. But people think that grabbing that quick snack and doing these things is really beneficial, when honestly, in the long term and long run, the damage is being done every day, because there's no nutrients, no nourishment, no connection being made in the body. It's just a lot of body has to work harder to destroy junk that it wasn't made to destroy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like trying to put crush an apple in something that's not a juicer, right? And that's what our body has to do with the processed food, because it's like, what do I do with this? It's giving me nothing. So it just stores it, throws it to the side, and it just grows and shows on us instead of balances and nourishes us and glows on us. I call that.
Yes, I love that.
Grows, right?
Yeah. Glows and grows. I think, I'm big on nutrition. That's my whole life, sharing about nutrition. And we do a bad job in America. I mean, you can tell I'm from another country. And in Australia, we didn't have, how did you guess? and we didn't have that as even growing up. I didn't have all that fast food. And I've been here 45 years. I just told somebody just a few days ago, there are some fast foods here that were here when I came, and I've never been into the store. I don't even know what the stuff tastes like, because I grew up on good, nutritious food. And that's why I'm still here today. And the other thing here that I worry about is women just reach out for drugs all the time. I don't think it should be allowed on TV. I don't own a TV, but I know it's on there because I mind dogs. I see it when I'm over there. But the amount of drugs women take for things that they could easily have through nutrition. They could easily heal.
And because again, there's another communication disconnection on that, because for women, we grew up thinking that we go to the doctor and they help take care of us. It's the other way around. We need to take care of ourselves and only go to them in the need of prescriptions or surgery or, a diagnosis of something. But it's not the nourishment and all that other stuff takes place with us first. The way we sleep, the way we eat, all that is our nourishment, our bodies. We all have a different, like a car, you know what I mean? We're all created different. We all have different instructions and we all eat differently. Growing up in the past years, our generations, everybody sat at the table, our families, right? Our sisters, brothers, and we all ate the same thing. Some of them got chubby, some of them stayed thin, some of them, were normal. But that's because we weren't all made for that same plate of food, but we all ate it. So we all fluctuated different ways, right? And that's what we have to understand today, that we have to find our balance and what brings the symphony and harmony together in our bodies, so that when we do go to the doctor, we're not going because of so many imbalances. I mean, we know that, to sleep, we just need to be sleeping. We need to put things away, stop the computer, shut things down, relax, meditate, relax our minds, do a brain dump, as they say, things like that. But we don't take the time. So it's easier to reach out, and then a doctor will say, okay, I'll give you this to relax, because it's just that time. And it's not just that time, it's that time for us to take bigger strides into looking for other ways to nourish ourselves.
So where are you sharing all this information? How do people get hold of you?
So today I'm on Liberating Menopause. This is my podcast that I host, and I just love hosting that podcast. I am currently under construction, creating my business concept in creating ways to support women through this history, but actually having that history come together in a conversation. Having conversations with women, you see so much freedom in them when they come freely, instead of because they have a concern that something's wrong. So I love capturing those type of women. I have, it's called lisab.co. So this is just the beginning part of the webpage, and it'll be because I speak, I'm a writer and my podcast host, health coach. I became a menopause champion with the menopause experts in the UK. I went to school with them and learned so much. It's just a beautiful community when you have this sort of community that speaks hormones, that speaks your language. So I am located on Instagram, Female Forward on Instagram, and Lisa Vasquez on Facebook. But right now, I'm just growing and developing all this. I retired from radiology 2 years ago, 45 years. And so now it's just creating everything that women have brought to me and expanding everything.
And this is the perfect time for sharing. People are ready for it. They're ready to go onto podcasts, go into Zooms, go into everything. I think COVID kind of taught everybody how to express themselves and listen to others via another technology. And I think you're going to have an enormous amount of people all around the world. And so many women need to open up their eyes, open up their heart, wake up. To
understand, because a lot of people think that this isn't for them. They hear the word menopause, and that scares everybody. That scares the hell out of people. And really, menopause, they think it's an age thing, and it's not. It can happen to a 28-year-old. So menopause has no age, and it's not a disease. It's not it's a deficiency in your hormones, and it's transition that our process of life in a woman's world goes through. But it shouldn't be scary, because as long as you're doing the job every day of your life, taking care of yourself, when you meet these roads, as you said, it's invigorating. It's a happy place to be. I'm 65, and this generation isn't our grandmother's menopause or anything like that. We're in the dance studios. We're working out. Medicare supports us with gym access and things like that. There's so much to thrive and strive for today in our world of the 60s. And it's just a beautiful, gracefully balanced. There's a place that I call
Yeah,
home.
I'm looking now at ladies and gents, but there seems to be a lot of ladies that are over 100, and they're great. I mean, it's their minds, they look beautiful, yeah, older beautiful, not 20 beautiful. And I'm just so yeah, excited about that, because I'm moving now from Las Vegas to Texas in 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And it's a big transition. I mean, I'm doing it all alone. I'm full of boxes here, but I don't have any of those stress or hormones, because I've learned how to deal with hormones. And I'm going, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm walking out the door into the sunshine, and I'll be back in a minute. That kind of thing. It's a different way of looking at life.
Exactly. But this is an education that we need to learn. I mean, at your age, you've got it, but how do we get it to get these young people? You know, it's all computers, it's all these fast things that nobody's bringing sentiment moments of, you know, peace in their world. It's just a lot of action fast. You know, we need to find that secret space to be in that relaxed place. Yes, because I mean that's a beautiful thing. That's exactly what we do when we know that, you know, the emotions are rising. It's you have to stop, take that break, go breathe. I mean, yesterday it was such a beautiful breezy day. All I did was lay on the ground upside down, just looking up to the sky, enjoying the breeze, brain dumping, just looking up and just, you know, with no thoughts, just what's in the sky, just seeing the beauty, just watching the clouds clip and do what they do. But and it was beautiful, because that's, you have to do things aimlessly and just sit there and let the mind float out and let these things clear out. Yes, that was beautiful.
I just told that to a client of mine yesterday. I had my last session with him, and I said, this is what I want you to do, because now he hasn't got me. I said, you can do all the things that I've done with you. You can do it alone. And if you need any help, call me. But I said, the one thing is lie down outside under a tree in the sunshine and just take it all in and breathe and get those vitamins, all that health and life from the sun, and do these few exercises. I said, it'll make an enormous difference. I said, that's what I do. I don't go to anybody. I do it myself.
Right. Yeah. Because we really do have everything within us. We just need to learn, you know, I mean, it's like our phones, you know, we get our phones, they come with so many instructions, but all we want to know is how to turn it on, where to take the pictures, how to do this and how to do that. But if we really looked at those instructions, and that's what we need to do for ourselves, because we have the book, we know. And if we don't, we meditate and pray and reach out to find more answers and connect to that higher self. You know,
yeah. Well, that's what I'm doing. When I go to Texas, I've got a space. I've got 2.5 acres. I've got a space. I'm putting a meditation outside space. Wow. And one inside. And then I've got chickens talking to me just a little bit away. I'm going to make it all come together and start writing about how connecting with yourself as a woman, as a person, as a human, how it works. I think you're on the right track for all of this. And we need to tell our children. Luckily, my child has got a fabulous mother. Because
that's what this is all about, right? And I call that I go to connect with nothing so that I can connect to everything. So I have to take myself and turn me into nothing, so that when I come out to connect, I can receive everything. Because
yes,
you know, it's you know.
So and talking to women in the workforce, I think, is a big deal, so that women understand that they don't have to deal with the fact that they're hormones. They're a complete package, and they happen to be women, whereas the other package is a complete lot of hormones. They happen to be men. They're just different. You've done a really good job on this.
And liberating menopause is all about that, working with, for the women working in the workplace. That's what I'm really focused on and geared. That's where I want to capture all my women. I'm on my I'm going on my fourth season, and I'm very excited. My podcast exists because for decades women have been taught to push through and stay quiet, right? And especially being at work, we're structured under a man's structure, but we're not being recognized for the changes and things that are happening in our bodies to create this great work harmony, because if we're, I called it presentee. Well, it's not, I didn't call it, but the title was presenteeism, because you're there, but you're really not there. You know what I mean? Because you didn't sleep all night, but you had to be at work. So you're there, but you're really not there. So there's a lot of loss in the workplace for productivity, things like that. I mean, because of the structure, and that's what we need to change. But until we can do that, making women aware while they're in the workplace, like you said, getting up to go out. People sit down all day long. We have pelvic floor issues that are taking place because of that history, right? We need to learn to stand up, get up, let that blood flow, do things that are really going to answer the signals that our body's telling us. These symptoms, that's what they are. They're messages, they're symptoms, they're signals, and they tell you in advance. But we wait until almost the end when we're almost retiring, and now it's all piled up to more chronic illnesses. When if we listen to those signals and take space and write them down, so that when you go to the doctor, you know what you're talking about. You don't have to, because first he starts talking, next thing you know, you forgot what you were going to say, and now you walk out the door and it's too late. You got to wait another year, 6 months, to answer that question. So it's really important to take initiative. And this is what I train women to do, is to know how to go in there, be your power, and talk with power, because it's all about you. You know what I mean? And we don't want you to collapse.
Exactly. I did a fabulous not a presentation. It was at a presentation, but it was I think it was 3 or 4 days, and they were men and women, and one of the days, every day was a different way of learning about yourself and others, and one of the days we had to be blindfolded from the moment we woke up in the morning. So, and we were near a babbling brook, so I was crawling around on my hands and knees, getting to all the places I had to go, and somebody would feed us if we needed. They could put the spoon in where, like, this is rice and this is veggies and things like that, but we had to be covered all day. And we got to a point where we were touching one another. We were in a room, and the music would be on, and then we'd stop, and whoever we was in front of, we touched each other's fingers. And it was just so amazing how, when you get rid of what we look like, what gender we are, how old or young or beautiful or whatever we are, and we just touch fingers, we're human beings, and we're all the same in so many ways. And we put this wall up between us and make these differences where we could be, men. My big thing is men understanding women and helping women when I've been in some really desperate situations, and making women feel a bit better about having their period, for instance, and being in embarrassing situations and being there for them instead of shunning them. And this was huge to me, because in the end I realized we're humankind, and so we should be able to get together, and everything you're talking about shouldn't be this hard.
No, it shouldn't. And I was thinking about the ladies that you were talking about in the hundreds, because some of my patients, they were like in their 80s and 90s, and they were in tap dancing, and yes, they would tell me about their conversations with their older friends. So these are like 80-year-old women, right? And they're telling me about their older friends who are 98, and all these, this community and all this activity. And, you know, so every generation really inspired me to want to grow into that. I mean, when I was 21, I couldn't wait to be 45 because my friends were 45 and they were all so glamorous and beautiful. But again, back then we didn't know we were going through hormonal shifts. And the one thing I want to bring to the attention is that, you know, most women only learn about hormones when something goes wrong, right? And puberty is treated like an inconvenience. Perimenopause is treated like a mystery, and menopause is treated like an ending, but it's really the whole frame, and it's all together, and it's not an ending because, as you said, postmenopausal life. I mean, hormones are a long-term deficiency, so they don't end until we end. When our life is over, that's when the hormone shift is over. But until then, we are, you know, our hormones teach us throughout that cycle, and the rest is up to us. But what we've done in that cycle is how we present and how strong and powerful we can be afterwards. Because in the past, throughout my generation, watching that work, my 60-year-olds back then, a long time ago, they didn't have this education. They had a lot of medication.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and they were home. And as a retiree, it was really kind of like an ending. Because now you're just on medication, just at home. You go to your appointments, you know, come back home and until it's over, where we don't do that today. And it's that education that's going to thrive to be stronger to who we are at the end.
I'm going to be waiting for all your next books.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I got to thank you for coming on. I know it was only a wee short space of time, but there's people going to be watching this all over the place because this podcast goes everywhere through PR Connections. So I just want to thank you for sharing. You're a wonderful, wonderful woman and very gorgeous too, I might add.
Thank you, Anna Karina. Thank you so much. And again, Liberating Menopause is also on the prconnectionsradio.com. So thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I thank you. Thank you.
Big aloha.
I love you. Bye.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.